Hey friends, happy Tuesday, I'm Adam James, and you're watching In Other News, the show where we talk about irrelevant news stories. Today we're going to talk about the rise of the planet of the cats, an event towards white and black people meeting for the first time, and a recall for peanuts because the package does not warn that it contains nuts. Hold on to your britches and let's get this show on the road. Just to clarify at the beginning of this story, I'm being forced to say everything that follows by the powers that be. These aren't my opinions and... Oh my god. They're here. Mayuko Matsumoto is an 82-year-old woman in Mifune, southern Japan. One day, her daughter found her in her home with 20 cuts on her face. Police deduced there was a murder attempt afoot. Was it Colonel Mustard with the musket in the kitchen, you ask? No, you idiot! She had scratch marks on her face, not a musket ball wound. Daughter Matsumoto was quoted saying, "When we found her, blood covered everything above her chin. Her face was soaked in blood. It's safe to say that this was not the Colonel's doing. So then, who done it?" Ms. Matsumoto was bedridden and unable to speak, but there was no evidence of a break-in anywhere in the house. Scratches on a nice old lady's face. No signs of a break-in. Colonel Mustard wasn't around. Reportedly, police found trace amounts of what could be Ms. Matsumoto's blood on a stray kitty cat near her humble abode. Though we all know cats are the sweetest creatures out there and would never hurt a soul, don't we? Don't we? In other news, Come Meet a Black Person is the best event to ever exist that you've never even heard of. The event is being held in Lawrenceville, Georgia, and is an honest attempt to bring people of different ethnicities together. Cheryl Moses created the event and the sweet company Urban Media Makers, after seeing this study from the Public Religion Research Institute. According to CNN, this study shows that 75% of white people in America do not have friends that are people of color. Come Meet a Black Person is specifically geared towards white people with a lack of non-white friends. It's like the Barney Stinson to your Ted Mosby.
Have you met
a black person? Are you nuts for nuts? Or are you someone who would be upset if the nuts you purchased failed to mention that the package may contain nuts? Well, 3 Aldi's in the UK announced a recall of peanuts because the brand Clancy's failed to mention that the package may contain nuts. Either way, the questions are irrelevant because we're talking about peanuts, and peanuts are not technically nuts, but legumes. This because they grow in the ground rather than a tree. Though peanuts are still a very serious allergen affecting 1 to 3% of the population in Western countries. In order to protect the consumer, food distributors and manufacturers are required to place a special warning on the label if there is any peanut or other nut products in the package. Or even if the food was just made in a factory that also processes peanuts or other nuts, as the product still may contain trace amounts of contamination. So because of the misconception of peanuts classification, most people would think, hey, Clancy's barbecue flavor-coated peanuts probably contain nuts. And they would be right, but for the wrong reasons. It's that part about contamination that would require a warning label. Since Clancy's peanuts are roasted and packaged in a facility that also processes cashews, a real nut, the packet could contain traces of actual nut. So that recall from Aldi may seem nutty at first, but all in all, it's fairly practical. Alright, I want to hear from you. Are you aware of the kitty uprising? What the hell is a legume? Let me know in those comments down below. And scream. If you like the show, please like, and you can subscribe by clicking the channel icon right over here. And you can watch last Tuesday's episode by clicking the video right here. And please share this with your friends, otherwise the cats will win. I'll see y'all next week.